Hello again everyone, it's me Johnny. I want to thank you for checking out my channel. And today I want to talk to you about the inward journey. The inward journey is probably one of the most gratifying journeys you can ever go on in your lifetime. But yet, it's the most fearful. It's the most fearful because when you really start the inward journey, dealing with self, it forces you out of your comfort zone. And as long as you're comfortable and you're satisfied and you're settling in life, you're really never going to move nowhere. Right? And so what I learned on my journey was that I had to move in order to heal and continue to heal my body. I would have to go on the inward journey and deal with self. I would try to escape, my life by going on a vacation, going to these 5-star resorts, hanging out, doing what I can to escape the world I created. See, I had no one else to blame for the world that I created but myself through my decisions that I made, through settling in life and never dealing with self. So the inward journey forces you. It forces you to deal with self. It forces you to deal with all the chatter that's going on in your head, all the negative thought that's going in your head. Everything that you don't want to deal with, you'll find it on the inward journey. And until you deal with it, you'll never really reach your full potential. You'll never really see, or you'll never really take the limits of the true potential of the life you're called to live. And it's not going to happen looking at the idiot box. It's not going to happen wasting time blaming everyone else for our problems. Sometimes we tend to judge someone else, never really knowing their full story. Never really knowing what that person's going through. Everybody's going through something. But it's real easy for us to judge someone else. But we never take the time to look in ourselves and see what's going on in our own little garden inside your heart. We never really take the time to look at it. I know I was judgmental. I know I looked at people in the wrong way, quick to judge. Now, once I went on my journey, I had to realize I had to stop hanging around negative people. I had to stop hanging around people that gossiped all the time and just threw people under the bus and really didn't realize that with your own words, you're hurting this person. You're not really helping them. For me, what I've learned is to have more empathy and compassion for people. Not everyone's going to like me, I know that. Not everyone's going to agree with me. Even so that what I've learned is to walk away and to move on and not really let those people invade my space, because I'm a man with a mission and I have a vision for my own life. And it wasn't always like this. And you can see the scars. If I showed you, you see the scar there from thyroid cancer. You can see the scars on my hands that have healed. But we never really take the time to examine the scars that are within our hearts. We never really do. We never take the time to heal it. And we try to medicate ourselves. Some people do it with food. Some people do it with pills. Some people do it with alcohol, trying to kill the pain when we really never really take the time to deal with self, with what's going on in the heart, going on in the chatter. And like I teach, you have your mind, you have your heart, you have your gut, or your brain, you have your superhighway. Constant, the information, one's going to affect the other until you truly find peace and harmony within yourself. And that's through the inward journey. Not really focusing on what other people think about you. Only focusing on what you think about yourself, because the person that you talk to throughout the day the most is yourself. And until we face that, until I started to take control of the negative talk that I was saying to myself and the toxic foods that I was eating, dealing with the pain that I tried to cover up for so many years, of not living the true potential, then my life started to turn around. For me, juicing and doing all that stuff was the easy part. Dealing with what was hidden in my heart, what was going on in my mind, was the hard part, because it affected everything. From getting addicted to certain foods, to eating late night, to, because I would use food as medicine. I would blow up 20, I weighed 196. I'm not very tall. I'm not tall at all, but, according to some people. But to be at 196, waist size 36, was like very unhealthy. And I had to learn to really go inside. And sometimes we don't want to deal with it. Right? We want to escape this world without dealing with self. And that's why I tell you it's the most fearful one, because it forces you to come out of your comfort zone. And for sometimes I didn't deal with stuff from my childhood, but yet I carried it on into adulthood. So every time someone would deal with me, My reaction was from the kid who was abused as a child. I carried that on in adulthood, and I'm not the only one to do that. You know, forgiving yourself, forgiving the person that's done it to you, and you learn to move on. It's like taking baggage off. Just excess baggage, like excess weight that you're less than. Not realizing that those decisions, you know, there's a Dr. Bruce Lipton says, show me the first 7 years of a child's life, and I'll show you the adult. That is so powerful because the good book says, train up a child in the way that he should go. A child is not a 15 or 16-year-old. A child is small. It's the first 7 years of first 7 years. That's when all the neurons in the brain start to form. That's when the child learns how to hug. That's when the child learns how to embrace. That's when the child, the fundamentals of life. That, you know, because through the pregnancy period, he is connected to that umbilical cord. Now, when he comes into this earth, he's connected to family. That's his umbilical cord, who he surrounds himself with. And when you have kids that are suffering trauma at such a young age, and you see them, they can't function as adults. I believe in that. I believe that, tell me about your childhood. Tell me what you've been going through. And sometimes abuse leads to abuse, leads to abuse, leads to abuse, leads to abuse. It's always abuse because we never dealt with, like me, never dealt with my past. And so I'm going to use this little thing that I have here, my little analogy. I like analogies. I like to show you some things. This is a simple bottle of water. And what I have here, because we don't take time to let our hearts heal, and our hearts are hemorrhaging toxic venom that flood our bodies, that flood our cells over and over and over again. So I'm going to use this as a little analogy that I have. And this is nothing but regular food coloring. I won't use it for food. It's just for demonstration purposes. And this is a bottle of water. This represents, let's say, the cells in your body, the liquid in your body, the inner fluids in your body, right? This water right here, this represents your heart hemorrhaging, or your brain and your mind, your heart, whatever it is. All three toxic thoughts, pain, anger that we never heal from. And it just continues to drip the whole time. Look what happens after a while. Drip, 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 drip. This is going 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365, over and over until you deal with yourself. Until you deal with self. And you manage to take care of you, not worrying about what anybody else thinks about you, not worrying about the person down the street. Be your worst own critic. Judge yourself, but in a nice way. You know, in a nice way, not destroying yourself. But call yourself out before you call someone else out. This represents what's going on in your body with toxic thoughts, toxic emotions, a hemorrhaging heart that's just spewing out venom, hate, hurt, pain, because you've been hurt before. But we never took the time to heal ourselves. And self-healing doesn't happen overnight. The greatest anti-venom to this is self-love, is loving yourself first. Putting yourself first. In whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to accomplish, is putting yourself first and says, yes, I can. It's reversing the negative self-thought. And that comes through daily affirmations. That comes in putting a vision before you. Constantly saying it over and over and over again. You know, because you're fearfully and wonderfully made. There's no one else on this planet just like you. Learn to love you. Learn to see yourself and spend time with yourself. The most gratifying times I have today is walking on the beach by myself early in the morning. For me, it's fun. For me, it's relaxing. It's therapeutic. I look at life so much different now than prior to my diagnosis because I put myself first. You know, I've learned to have empathy. I've learned sympathy. I learned to understand that everyone has their journey. Everyone has their story. Everyone's going through something. So not to be so quick to judge somebody because they're not, you know, they don't think the same way I do, or they don't look like I do. Or, you know, whatever they may be going through. I've learned to keep my mouth shut and just to look and to observe and just stay silent. You know, in my quiet times, I learned to be still and know that there's somebody else controlling my life. And I just wanted to share these thoughts with you. I hope this helps you. God bless you guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Remember, you're alive, but are you really living the life that you want to live? There's so much more potential in your life. You know, you're just so close to reaching your next goal, the next thing that you really want to do in your life. Just stay focused and stick to the grind. God bless you guys. Bye.